Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of NC-17 with Josh and Lisa. I'm Josh. Lisa's out and about doing her thing, which is always a good thing. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Spin City / Static Tape, who are in Muskegon, Michigan. They have all your physical media needs, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, I mean, you name it, they got it. Today, our guests are the very talented and very likable, the Horrorland media crew. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
If you guys want to take turns, go on and announce, like not announce, but like say who you are and what you did on the film. Then we'll get right into it.
Yeah, I'm Justin, and I was the cameraman / director, I guess, technically.
I'm Lee. I'm Justin's wife. We own Horrorland Media, and I did cinematography. I did a little bit of the makeup effects. Special effects was more Carl's deal, and kind of was the chaos coordinator, I guess you would say, on set.
I'm Carl, and we honestly, they sold themselves short on that. They produced, directed, co-wrote the whole 9 yards. So I was basically the same producer, writer. I didn't direct. I was the lead actor. I played Mother Shucker. I did some of the music. I did all the practical effects. Kind of whatever I thought I could do, I did. So if it sucks, it's my fault.
Well, it did not suck. Trust me on that one. The first question I'd like to ask is, where did the concept come to make this movie, and whose idea was it to use like the mask and stuff like that?
It was random.
Yeah. We were at the Nashville Full Moon Tattoo Convention, and there was a vendor there with masks to sell. He didn't make them; he had purchased them, and they were for sale. And I noticed I think we actually noticed the mask first, but anyways, we said something to Carl about it. He was standing there, him and Eric both, and he was going to make a comment. Look at that, mother. And Shucker came out because there was kids standing there. And so he said, that's a whole ass movie. And so we had kind of already discussed possibly filming a movie, but we really didn't have exactly what we wanted to do. And so it honestly just kind of turned into a rolling joke, and it turned into something very serious very quick. So that was in April.
And we literally went to dinner after the show that night and sat down and wrote this whole thing, 5, 10, 15 minutes, something like that. No more than 15 minutes. We had the basic premise of the movie, how many characters we were going to need, how corny it was going to be. And I don't mean that as a pun. And by 11 o'clock on a Friday night. And then here we are, 5 months later, and we've got the movie filmed, the movie's printed, the movie's finished, the movie's up for sale. And it's been a great ride.
Okay. Before we go on, I have to say my favorite line, and I want to know who came up with the line, was, "What in the hillbilly Barbie bullshit is this?" Who came up with that idea?
That's me. They'll tell you we had no script. Anything you hear on screen is just what popped out, and I'm a big dumbass, and you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. And when she was pulling up, she was doing something with her hair, and I was like, well, look at Barbie here. And I've worked with her for a couple of years, and I just looked up, and I said, what kind of hillbilly Barbie doll bullshit's this? And then when she got out of the car, I said, great, there's an emo redneck. And I don't know where it came from. It just fell out.
That was, to me, the best line in the whole movie. But
Jasmine loved it, actually. Now she's like, yeah, I'm a hillbilly Barbie doll.
Oh yeah. I actually had a viewer question for Justin, because someone's been watching Horrorland Media, your podcast, and they wanted to know for Justin, what, like, at the beginning stages of making this film, what was the hardest thing you had to film?
The hardest thing really was probably the table scene where Suicidal Productions first meets. So a little backstory is like me and Lee had never once used a camera. This is like first time laying eyes on a camera. We played with them in the backyard for, I mean, maybe a total of 2 hours before we started
Yeah.
shooting. And so you're talking about a table with 6 people around it trying to get different angles so that you're not missing anyone talking. And they were Moosey's actually is the one who let us use their facility, but it's an outside food truck. So people coming down the road, we had to reshoot that several times because of noise. I mean, you can't just stop like use this road for the next 20 minutes while we knock this out. So I mean, it's a very busy highway in downtown Paducah, Kentucky, and that, in all honesty, was probably the most challenging thing.
Okay. So all of you guys were in the movie. Carl, you killed it. I'm telling you now, you killed it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know, and with the review I did, it's kind of like I got the feel of you were entering your Freddy, you know, like you were doing your Freddy Krueger because you always had your one-liners.
Yeah.
You know? And to me, it was like it came just so smooth the way you were like every line you said before you know, where you running? You ain't gonna get out of there. I mean, just everything. So was all that ad-libbed or was that written?
It was all ad-libbed. We didn't have anything written. As a matter of fact, there's part of it that's missing. I developed a conscience. I don't know where that came from, but the little girl Kara that we got, you know, with the corn stalk, I felt horrible. I was wearing her out, man. So stuff I was saying, and we went back and listened to it. I'm like, I can't do that. That girl's too sweet. If I was her dad and there's some old man chasing my daughter through the corn talking to her like that, I'm gonna whip his ass. I mean, it was bad. And so I was like, I mean, we had to go back and redo that. So we went back and just did the audio.
Over that part.
Yeah, where I was not talking as rough to Kara as I was. And you know, at first it was fun, and then I realized, you know, there's no script for this. You should probably ease up on this kid a little bit. I mean, she was already scared of me because every time she'd look at me in the suit, she would just be like, he's so creepy. And I'm like, she didn't need me wearing her out like this. So it was just, I don't know. It's for everybody. For me, especially me and Ty, that's just what we do. We just, unfortunately, it comes out of my mouth whether you want to or not. So.
Oh yeah. Lee, I had a fan ask me, what was your general reaction of the ending product?
Honestly, of course, obviously he edited it, so I saw it unfold each and every time we filmed something.
Yes.
I was watching. I will say it turned out way better than I had expectations for. We really didn't have any expectations because we had not ever practiced or played with anything before. And so I thought that it turned out really, really well considering the level of unexperience we had to turn it into an entire movie.
Oh yeah.
It was my personal opinion, and I've said this to people, and I'll say it till I'm dead. This came out. I wish people could be there. I wish we had been able to film it somehow. To watch the progression of this from the first time Justin started trying to edit this film to what we ended up with. If I do 100 more films, he'll edit every one. It was amazing to watch this. And it wasn't a gradual, he's good here, and then all of a sudden, no, he's like, oh, I got this.
All right.
And I put the cinematography in this movie up against anybody's. I thought it was really well done.
Oh yeah, it was a very well done movie. My wife, generally not the horror kind of person. So like she's more Disney and all that other stuff. But I told her, hey, we should watch this because she saw the review too, and she was like, all right, we'll watch it. You know, so I actually watched it twice in the same day, once by myself and then once with my wife. And my wife was like, this movie is really good. I was like, well, see, you can't just judge something because it's horror. you know? And
Right.
she wanted me to tell you guys that it seemed like you guys are more of a family than anything else. And generally, we both have the same consensus that if you're working with people you trust, people you love, then you're going to put out something that is awesome. And you guys did.
Yep.
Great, man. But that's the truth. And this was, I feel like I've known them for years. And honestly, we met their vendors. Horrorland Media is a big vending booth at the conventions. So Eric and I started out, we were buying their products. And because they carry, I'm a shameless plug here, they do everybody, Severin, Scream, everybody. And we're buying things from them we couldn't find anywhere else. And it started out, a client business relationship, and we gradually got closer and closer. And then we buy so much stuff, they custom made us shopping bags. It's bad. They say Horrorland Media, Carl. And then it turned into a friendship, and I feel like I've known them for years. And we've, honestly only been really doing things together 6 or 8 months. And there's a level of, I think the big thing, there's a level of trust there. But the most important thing is we all function on such a similar level of sense of humor. Everything's funny, everything's fun. It's kind of a disaster piece sometimes, but it is what it is, but it works. And it seems like you pull the best out of each other when you work close together like that. You have a common goal and that, in a relationship, more so than just a hired gun or, some random dude that wants to come in. You feel like that as a unit, you can do anything. And after this one, I'm like, there's nothing we can't do. There's not a movie we couldn't make.
And I hate that Eric could not be on, because he is our fourth, person and our fourth musketeer, I guess you could say. But, we also, none of us get our feelings hurt. We may think an idea is terrible, and I'll be the first to say, I think that sucks, and I don't think we should do it. And, I don't know how many times on set I told Carl to shut up because we were fixing to film. But Carl, shut up, we're fixing to film.
Because I don't.
But we don't get our feelings hurt with each other, and we all look out for each other, and we just kind of run with it.
Oh yeah.
And Eric's the laid back. He's not real vocal. He's just kind of the laid back guy that's like, I don't know about that kind of thing, and he fills in all the holes. Him and Lee, I would say, are the more moderate ones of the bunch. Lee's good at keeping us in control of stuff, and Eric's good at his ideas and opinions coming across in a way that's not hateful or whatever. And he's fun. And I've known Eric now for almost 20 years. We've thought about recording movies together for 10. We talked about it, wrote scripts, the whole 9 yards. Just never could come to fruition because we didn't have the gear, we didn't have the knowledge, know-how, or whatever. And luckily, Justin had the cameras. His dad was a filmmaker, and we just thought, hell, it's the worst that can happen.
Yeah. The ending is left on a cliffhanger. Is there going to be a part 2 or?
Oh yeah.
There will be, yes.
There will be several. That was the plan from the start. There will be several Shucker something films.
Shucker varieties.
Yeah.
Justin, what was your favorite thing to film for the whole movie?
Ooh.
Carl falling down.
Don't do it. Don't.
That was pretty great.
I knew it. They just left.
That was my favorite.
I'm sorry, I had to give you just a little bit.
In all honesty, I don't have just one singular scene. The first day that we filmed is probably my favorite because we started about 9 o'clock in the morning. We ended about 9 o'clock at night, and it was, I think we picked the absolute hottest day in Tennessee and Kentucky because it was, with heat index, it was like 112, 115 degrees. So
in that damn corn, it was even hotter.
Yeah. So, one thing none of our cast had ever met each other. Carl had picked a few people that had met through his work. So they kind of knew each other. He had his little group. I picked a couple of the guys and, again, my kind of little group, but they had no interaction before. We didn't do it. There was no script. There was like 8 pages and we were like, here's some ideas. Um, and then, we all met that morning and they just ran with it. And being out there for 12 hours in the heat, guzzling water and Gatorade so none of us died. I mean, the camaraderie and just the overall, no one complained. There was not one complaint from anybody out there. Everyone said it's hot, but it wasn't like, oh my God, it's hot. I'm ready to be done. It was more so just, yeah, it's hot. It's 100 degrees, but we're making a movie. And, in all honesty, instead of a singular scene, I think that's the number one thing I'm most proud of is the group that we were able to bring together. And even as hot as it was, how that first day just really came off, because that's a good probably 75% of our movie was filmed in that one day.
Okay. Lee, same question.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that day was, God, it was hell. I mean, in all honesty, at one point we thought we were in hell. And I know Carl did, being in that mask and that ghillie suit. I mean, he had to have, yeah. But nobody complained. And I think, the other part for me that I really enjoyed was, some of the scenes with just Carl and Eric, because they do have a chemistry there. Was just them coming.
Got you breaking up a little bit, folks.
Yeah, technical difficulties there.
Yeah, yeah. So, just the way that it was just such easy chemistry with everybody. I mean, honestly, that was the best part.
Yeah, it felt good, especially Kara and Ty together. They acted like an old married couple, and it just came off good. It came off real. That was what I was so happy with when we watched it back. It came off real. It was like these weren't actors; these are just some people that were working together to accomplish a goal, like with their podcast. And it came off like they had a relationship that would allow them to act that way. And I couldn't have been more happy with that. It was so good.
Oh yeah. So here's a personal question I ask everybody, and you guys could go in whatever order you want. Your first horror movie you remember watching that you did not like?
I was like 6 years old, so it's like what, 68, 69, and there was a movie called something Vampire Killers, The Great Vampire Killers. And my dad had me watch it with him. I'll never forget it. It was on Channel 29 WDXR, and it's called Creature Feature every Saturday night. And we watched this, and it's these guys that are vampire hunters, and basically in Russia. And they're just running around killing vampires in the snow and stuff, and it scared the hell out of me. And ever since then, I loved it. It was a connection with my dad because my dad loved horror movies. He loved Halloween. So watching that when I was 6 years old, like I said, like 69 or whatever it was, that did it for me. So it's been 50 plus years of absolute adoration for horror.
Okay. Whoever wants to go next.
I actually was not a horror fan, really at all until Justin and I got together. So about 5 years ago. I do remember when I was young, we would have all of us, teenage girls would have sleepovers, and we watched Candyman, and I hated it. I'm terrified.
Oh, yeah.
So that was probably my first one that I didn't like.
Oh, yeah.
The first one that I did not like, honestly, probably I've grown to love it, but when I watched it when I was little, it was Halloween 3, because I'd seen Halloween and Halloween 2, and I was probably 6 or 7 when I saw that. And I was like, this doesn't fit the first 2 movies that I saw, and I didn't understand what they were going for. And as I've gotten older, I like part 3 as a standalone film. But really the first one that I watched, growing up, it would have to be that one, just because I thought it didn't fit, and I didn't understand it, and I didn't like it.
Oh yeah, that's a general consensus. A lot of people say that. Yeah. So let's go through each character that's in your guys' movie. The ups and downs of like if this was a person that, like, and every day we all have that tie, right? We all do.
Yeah, everybody's got a tie.
But the feeling of each character, which one do you think, in, I don't want to kind of like paint a different kind of picture, but what was your favorite parts of every character? There we go. I'll say it like that.
I think for me, Jasmine, just that kind of wide-eyed silliness is Jasmine. That's really her. That was the thing that impressed me with that. She was just Jasmine. She's goofy and silly in real life all day. And that was just, and I thought that's exactly what that required. And she really, Ty, I thought was so over the top that it was perfect. You know, Kara was great. The way that she acted, the way that she just absolutely drugged Ty. I mean, that was great. I thought nobody else would have pulled that off but her. You know, and just they all did such a great job. Whitney was honestly, we gave Whitney an award for abuse of a corpse because she put up with more physical abuse than anybody I've ever seen. I've stepped on her twice. I kicked the hell out of her once. Justin kicked her, and then he's standing on her, and he's like, "Damn, the stick is under my foot." It was her ankle. So,
we were in the corner. I couldn't see. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, it was dark. We're in the corner, and she's like, laying there with that corner mouse. She's like, "It's okay." Yeah, it was like the people that had never acted before really didn't act. They were just themselves, and it looked like the 6 people that knew each other forever that formed a YouTube channel, and they decided we're going to go do this. And it came off to us. It came off that way. They're so dissimilar, yet they're so much like they're true to life. At least my folks were. His folks I had never met, but like Whitney, Jacob, Jasmine, they came off as who they really are. And I thought it was beautiful to see that, especially in a movie, a low budget, 75, 78-minute movie.
Yeah. And Dan really, I mean,
yes.
Not only did he help us because he had worked on another film before, he took one for the team in his kill scene. So he had the worst kill scene. It smelled awful. It was disgusting.
We forgot we left that laying out.
Yeah, and he put that stage blood in his mouth, even though it recommended not to. So he just really took one for the team with all that.
Oh yeah. There's what was all right? Do you guys prefer practical effects over CGI?
Absolutely, all day.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
you probably funny. Gathered that already, but
yes,
I mean,
yes. But I just wanted the fans to know.
Yeah, it was, and we didn't know how to do it. So what we did was I spent money on really good stage blood. I thought that'd be the first step. If we could make the blood look real, I've been an ER nurse for almost 40 years. Then I was a combat medic. I've been a paramedic. I'm like, I know what broke, bloody stuff's supposed to look like. I just got to figure out how to get it there. And then, I had a bunch of old expired like dressings and stuff that we could use. And what we did was literally, what do you think? Think this will work? I don't know. Let's try. And the thing that scared me the most was Ty's ear. I scared to death something's going to get in his ear, and I didn't want that to happen. And so we ended up just taking stuff you bought off the shelf at Walmart, like Tegaderm and silicone earplugs. I made a plug for his ear, then I put a Tegaderm over it so nobody, nothing could get down in there. And I'm like, you think that'll work? We're like, well, hell, I don't know. Let's try. And so having never done any of that before, just throw it at the wall, see if it sticks kind of moment.
It's funny because, this day and age, everyone loves the CGI. And I'm like, CGI is good and all, but to me, it doesn't show the more passion you have, because if you do practical effects, that means you want hands-on everything. And to me, like, my hat goes off to you guys and anyone else who does practical effects, because I love practical effects. And I mean, now you guys remember my rating of what I had, right? What I gave it?
Absolutely.
All right, so
and Yep.
It's actually gone up to a 9. Because
Oh, wow. Okay.
the first time I watch it is always for pure entertainment, you know? Then the second time is to go back and kind of see what I missed the first time. Then any time after that is pure entertainment again. But the fact that I could watch it in a week and 4 times in 1 week, I mean, to me, speaks volumes. Because there's movies nowadays, it's like I'll watch it and then maybe a week or 2 later I'll watch it again. But with movies such as Mother Shucker and other films I've watched, people who I personally know who watch the show, they constantly come and say, "Hey, can I see it?" Like I got people coming over tonight to watch it. And that's
That's hilarious. I love it.
Let's talk about the music in the film. Was it all like a joint thing of getting all the right music, or how'd that go about?
It's weird. Initially I was going to do all the music. I play guitar and program and do different things. I was going to do the entire soundtrack to it. And then when we started, I was like, hell, I can't do that, because I didn't realize how busy I was going to be. I kind of had my hands in everything. The first guy in the movie, Aaron, his band Maywin, we used 2 of their songs that were great songs. And we did, what was the other things we used? Was it from YouTube?
Yeah, just some royalty-free stuff we found on YouTube. The underlying of the kill scenes.
Then I did the acoustic parts.
Yeah.
And then the next, it's the stuff he found is royalty free was really good, but the Maywin stuff really, I thought, and they did the outro, right?
Yes.
That was Maywin that did the outro, and they're a local band that are really good. They're kind of like you said, a 90s post grunge kind of rock, borderline metal thing, but it's really dark and tempos are slower than what you would normally expect. I thought it fit the movie good. And the song that played in the car when Jasmine, I'm going to give a shameless plug to this. When Jasmine pulled up in the blue car, she was listening to the song Palms that I absolutely love. It's my favorite song I ever heard from them. And then I did some acoustic stuff, not much. I just did a few things here and there. But the next one we're going to do, hopefully all within the crew. Me and Aaron.
Yeah.
Try and get it done that way.
All right. Justin, are you going to, in part 2, is your character going to be having a bigger role, or are you going to be on screen again, or how's that going to go? Or are you not sure yet?
We're not sure yet, but if I have anything to do with it, probably not. I do not like being on camera. I much prefer being behind.
He hated
but
it.
there was the only reason really I was in it was because I wanted to. We needed to convey a certain message that we had touched on with certain people during the interview process, but really no one had told that full blown story. And I was like, that's a lot to ask someone to remember. To not have a script. And so we asked Dan, was like, hey, can you come to our house and let's just rattle this off? And I talked for like 6 minutes and I was like, okay, I'm done. And when I watch that scene, I have to fast forward it because I hate myself on camera. So, that's just one of those things. I don't, if it calls for me to be in it, I'll take one for the team and be in it. But if we can get away from that, I'm perfectly fine with that as well.
All right.
And see, he hated it and we thought it was great.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, without your scene, and this guy's honest truth, without your scene, the story, like they would have never got anywhere. So I mean,
it would have died on the vine.
There you go. We got about 8 minutes left. I do want to let you guys know. So at the end of the year, I always do, well, not always. I did it last year and I'm gonna do it again this year. We have an NC-17 awards, just for shits and giggles, but we actually do give awards. Mother Shucker is going to be up for movie of the year. Just to give you guys and Carl's going to be up for we had last year we didn't have a killer of the year. This year we're going to have a killer of the year. Carl the Cobb is going to be up in there.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's I don't know, movies like this kind of give me a feel of, again, like my wife said, a family thing, and the fact that you guys went on just your passion. You can feel it through the movie. and each character relayed something different, which was awesome because mostly it was in most horror movies you get your cliches, you got your jocks, your nerds, your whatever you want to call them. But this movie, everyone was on the same playing field. It seemed like to me. Would I be correct in saying that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
They were all equals. There were no one that was trying to, and that was evident when we were filming. There was nobody trying to outshine or step over somebody else. It was just a unit, a cooperative effort that was unreal to watch.
All right. So with 6 minutes and 24 seconds left to be exact, is there anything each of you want to say to people who are maybe thinking about getting into the industry or is already into it and kind of struggling and stuff like that? Is there anything you guys would want to relay?
Absolutely do it. Do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We've got 2 crews here local that are filming right now. And I saw a guy that filmed a movie with an iPhone 15 that looked better than a movie I saw that cost $4 million to make. If you want to do it, if you love it, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in your people and you want to do it, go do it. It doesn't matter. You don't have to have money. We did this on next to nothing. You don't have to have money. All you got to do is have a desire and a few close, like-minded people that you can rely on, that's got your back and you got theirs. You can do any damn thing you want to.
Yeah. Just, I mean, I was completely unsure about it, had no clue what we were doing, and we figured it out, sometimes on the fly, literally in the moment, but we figured it out and we made a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Just do it. I mean, at the end of the day, if reviews come out, let's say you reviewed it and you said this is the biggest piece of trash I've ever seen, and let's say you rated it a 2. That's your personal opinion, and that's perfectly fine. But if you get it on a Blu-ray or no matter how you release it, your name will forever be tethered to that. So as long as you do it and you have fun and you enjoy doing it, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. People like you who review movies, if you give it a high score like you did ours, that is just icing on the cake. And it really, kind of warms our hearts to know that we did something that people hopefully out there will enjoy. But even if you do something that people don't enjoy, as long as you have fun doing it, that's all that matters. And I mean, if you can't make yourself laugh, if you can't have fun in life, what's the purpose of even trying to do anything like this? You can't take yourself too seriously, because at the end of the day, if you're making a low budget movie, it's still going to be a low budget movie. So you have to have fun doing it, and that's the number one thing.
Got to laugh at yourself.
Okay. So 4 minutes left. You guys want to plug your social medias and where people can reach out to you and stuff?
Yeah, I'll just put it in the chat. Would that be the best thing to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And here, I want to do this. If you order one of the movies, this is the copy you're going to be getting. This is that we're doing the red cases with custom slip covers. The artwork is done by Terrence Muncie. It's a great artist we see at the conventions. Justin said it better than anybody. He draws in a cartoonish style, but the colors are so vivid. We wanted, so we commissioned him to do our artwork. So when you get it, it's going to come in this red case. It's a little thicker because it's a European case. It's a 16 to 14 millimeter. And we're taking orders now. You can contact us through their Horrorland media sites, through the Mother Shucker Facebook page. Just hit us up with a message. Tell us you want a copy. We'll get you one burnt out.
Yeah. Right now we're just doing the messages, but come October 1st, so this upcoming Tuesday, October the 1st of 2024, you can go to horrorlandmedia.square.site. We will have the Blu-rays up for sale. We will also have, hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't know if they'll be live on the 1st. We're waiting to get them back in our hands, but we've worked on some t-shirts, so hopefully we'll have those up as well. So I mean, we're just going to pump as much stuff on that website as we can. Lee and I have actually talked this morning. We've got some ideas for maybe some other stuff to get on the site, some different style shirts and things. So again, that's horrorlandmedia.square.site, and that will be live on October the 1st.
All right. I would like to thank you guys again for giving me this time and this opportunity to be able to talk to y'all. I will be watching the movie again today, so it'll be the 5th time in 1 week.
Thank you so much, man.
Oh,
Yes.
you're welcome. Thank you. And anytime I tell everybody this, because this is an open format for me. Anytime you guys want to come here, you always have a spot with NC-17. So even if it's just come on and say, hey, you got a booger in your nose, you can do it.
Awesome. We appreciate you so much, and
All right.
just thank you for helping us with the exposure and getting it out there, and your
All right.
love for the movie. So
Yeah, the idea that you love indie film as much as we do. I tell people all the time at conventions, independent film keeps this genre alive. Your blockbusters coming out of big studios are few and far between. You got indie films being made every day. Yeah, be sure when you go to conventions, support your locals, support your independent filmmakers, support the actors. We keep paying this forward. This keeps continuing. The genre lives forever. We have children show up at these shows that have never heard of this or seen this because of exposure through a parent or a friend. That's what keeps this whole thing paying itself forward and going around and around. Without indie film, it would die.
All right. With that, thank you guys. I'm going to end it here and say stay NC-17. And thank you guys again.
thank you.
Thank you, brother.